Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. So this is baby Michael. He's my model for the little baby bonnet. And let me turn it this way. You can see a little bit, maybe not. Let me pull him out. Let's get rid of this blanket. So this is a little baby bonnet. Now he's got a much smaller head. He's a newborn, but this baby bonnet is a little big because it will fit 3 to 6 months. But I just wanted to give you an idea of what we're going to be doing. All this is crochet, so if you're not comfortable with crochet, then you probably wouldn't follow along with me. But this is crocheted. This is done in a flat panel, so if you're not comfortable with that either, then you might not want to do this tutorial. So let's get started. We are going to start this project using waste yarn at the beginning and the end. So this is done on the 48 pin. Find your white. So we're going to cast on 24 stitches. So you're going to do that the same way that you cast on anything else. You're going to go in and behind. You're going to do this. Make sure it's on tube to start. Just to cast on, and then we'll change it. So 24 stitches. You're going to go in and behind, in and behind. What's that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. This is my 24th one, and I'm going to be in behind, which is what I want. So put your yarn down into your carriage, move it to panel. It's your button on the side here. P stands for panel, T stands for tube. And now we're going to go back the other way, and we're going to put on whatever you got for waste yarn, whether it's 5 or 6 rows. So we're going to get back around here. Is going to go 2 stitches past. We're going to pull down the tension on here, so when it goes back around, it's going to skip those 2 stitches and it's going to catch here. So that's why I wanted 24 on, and the same thing with this side. Now make sure this gets slipped down. You're going to have to push. This will go past 2 stitches, or you're going to go past 2 stitches, and then you're going to come back, and this one's going to catch. See, this not sitting right. Just make sure everything's going down. So it's going to go past 2. So I'm going to go all the way to the white one. It's going to skip these 2. I'm going to pull down my tension so that this one picks it up. So that's the trick. That's one of the tricks for doing a decent flat panel, is that tension you put on this when you go to come back the other way, and knowing that you have to go 2 stitches past where you want to be, because it'll skip these 2 at first when you come back around. The second thing is making sure you're pushed all the way down on that last stitch, because if you're not, it's going to drop it just about every single time. So I'm going to go 2 stitches past. This is where I need to be, so I'm going to skip and skip, and I'm stopping here because my machine stops me here. I'm going to pull down on my tension. It skips those 2, and it's going to catch with this one. So now that we've established a baseline with our waste yarn, I'm going to come back around. It's going to skip these 2 stitches and pick it up here. So I'm going to go just past these 2. I'm going to keep my tension tight, but it's going to skip. This is where I'm going to drop my line, and I'm going to add my color. Put it in my tension, and I'm just going to let it hang because this needle should pick up my new color. And I just guided it a little bit. So now we're actually starting. So my counter doesn't work when I'm in flat panel mode. So I measured mine at 12 inches in length. So you can either do 68 rows or 12 inches in length. So it's just easier to measure for me. Make sure this is pushed down on the end. You're gonna have to watch your ends every single time. You can go as fast as you want here, but watch your end every time. This needs to get pushed down. That's the second trick, because this is the biggest problem why nobody can do a flat panels. They don't make sure that's pushed down. So I'm gonna go past my 2 stitches. I'm gonna put my tension now down on this so that this needle picks it up. I've done a video for flat panels. If you're struggling to understand what I'm telling you here, you can go watch that video. The yarn I'm using is this Soft and Shiny from Loops and Threads. It's actually not working that badly in my machine. It's working pretty good. Take your time with flat panels. Don't try to rush all the way through it, because you're just going to come out on the losing end. So this shiny stuff from Loops and Thread, I don't really got to watch my sides too much because it's nice and slippery. So all my stuff's just dropping down nice. So it's very staticky, but this is what your ends should look like if you're keeping your tension nice and tight. You should have nice looking ends like this. And don't worry about what this looks like. It's just because it's trying to roll. That's why it looks like it's not going in the same spot, but it is. So to measure it, you're just gonna pull it out and measure this way. So I've got about 8-ish inches. So I got about 4 more to do. It's about 12 inches. And with waste yarn. And my battery's gonna die. So pull down and go back like you're gonna be putting that stitch on. But when you cut this off, I want you to cut off enough, like a really super long tail. So everything's just static. Ugh. So pull that out, and that's still wrapped around that guy, which I'm going to push down because I'm not sure why he's stuck up like that. Well, hopefully he catches. I'm going to put him in here as my waste yarn. And this needle should just catch it. And you start to turn. So now I'm going to go back and forth with my waste yarn, doing the exact same thing, keeping my tension. My battery died, but I didn't do anything. I'm still just going along my waste yarn. Same thing, you gotta make sure that these sides are going down as well. So when you're done with your waste yarn, you're just going to do the exact same thing you do with anything else. You're just going to let it run out. And then this will take itself off the machine. Or, well, it's supposed to. That didn't come off. Everything's getting stuck right now. Let's see if I can get it off this way. There we go. There we go. So I'll meet you at the craft table. Okay, so once we come back around, I got all kinds of crap on my table. We need to just stretch our work out. This relaxes the stitches. Now you're still going to get this rolling on the edges, but we just need to learn how to deal with that. So what you're going to do is you're going to fold this in half. Just like that. The side that you kept this for, you can just put that back over here. We need to sew up this side, and we're going to use a different piece of yarn. Because even though I called this a sewing tail, we're going to actually crochet with it. I don't think I have enough. I might actually have to add some more to it, so which means a little knot, but so we're keeping our waste yarn on for now. For now, we're just gonna worry about sewing up this side. So you need a bit to sew with. I need some new scissors. So I would say a mattress stitch is probably your best bet for this. But start down here so you know where exactly. You need to stay in the same column all the way up. But if this is not the stitch you prefer to use, then you don't need to use it. But this is the one I'm going to use. So a mattress stitch is simply going under these two stitches. So they're not the actual stitches that you're picking up, it's those bars. Do you see those bars? You're going to go in, you're going to pick up those bars, and you're going to pull through. Leave a tail, don't pull it all the way through. Then you're going to come over to this side and you're going to do the exact same thing. You're going to pick up those two bars and you're going to pull. So you're going to make a rib cage. But you need to make sure you stay in the same column. So, oops, go in and pick up your next two bars. it's hard to stay in the same column because it's rolling so much. And then go in and pick up your next 2 bars. So that's a mattress stitch. Grafting is a little different. Grafting is instead of picking up 2 more bars, you're going to pick up one of the old bars and then one new bar. That's grafting. That's the only difference. Other than that, it's exactly the same as a mattress stitch. So I'm just going to hold mine like this because it's easier for me. So if it confuses you as to what I'm doing, then sorry. But it's easier for me to stay in the same columns because right now that's my biggest problem with this stitch, because I'm not a sewer. So my biggest problem with the stitch is staying in the columns I'm supposed to be in. And then it just looks funny. So once you do this mattress stitch all the way up and then you pull, it'll suck it together where you won't even know that it's been sewn. So all this going on right here, you don't have to pull tight right now. You can just keep it like that. But it should look like a shoelace is going on, like you're tying up a shoelace, if you're doing it right. So now I just have to hope I stay in the same area. The last 2 bars. So this is what it should look like. Mine's pretty rough looking, but once you pull, then it closes that right up, and you can hardly tell that that's been sewn. That's the nice part of the mattress stitch. So I am going to go down in, so not in the same space that I'm in, but right over here. I'm going to go down to the other side, to the purl side. And this is where I'm going to make a little knot just to secure my stitch, my mattress stitch. I'm going to make a couple of them. This won't be felt by baby, so don't worry about what it might feel like. Especially if you're using the stuff I'm using by Loops and Thread. It is so soft. So once you've got that secure, cut it off, but please leave it a little nubby because this actually can tend to work itself open. So when you've pulled down on that, it kind of takes the bump out of the top of that bonnet as well. So that's the side that you have sewn up, and this was the other side that you left that you could pull. So I'm just gonna, oh my gosh, the static. So this side I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna go through and make a couple of knots, just because I don't want anything to come undone. So I'm just going to go across, pull that, and go back across, make my knot, and I'm going to scooch down over here and make another knot. Again, this will not be felt by baby, but pull back and forth like this. It really tightens this knot down. And then this guy, I'm actually going to weave up. You're going to have a ridge back here where you've done your mattress stitch. I'm just going to weave up there and back again, just in case anything might go wrong. So you've got your hood started. So this is where we're going to start single crocheting. We want to single crochet around the bottom where our waste yarn is. We want to make sure that we're getting stitches in there before, this is pretty small yarn, so you could probably get away with a 3.5, a 3.75, or even a 4. I'm gonna, you know what, I'm gonna use a 3.5. So this is a 4 weight, but it's baby fine. It calls for a 4mm. I'm gonna use a 3.5. But use whatever your thing is called for. So we're gonna single crochet around the bottom of this before we take our waste yarn off. I'm just making sure I've got everything. So I'm just gonna go into this first loop. It's hard to find the first loop because of this stupid, but you're gonna have a pink one through it, and that's gonna be through here. So this is where I'm gonna just kind of pull through and attach, so to speak, but I'm not attaching. So roll this up until you can see all your loops right here, and you're gonna grab every single one of these, and you're gonna pull it through. Then you're gonna yarn over and pull through that. That's gonna be your single crochet, and you're gonna do it again. You're gonna go through your loop, you're gonna grab your yarn, pull through, and then you're gonna pull through those 2 loops. That's a single crochet. So we're gonna do that all the way across, and that's gonna secure our loops. And then we can take the waste yarn off. So just kind of try to keep everything nice and tight. If you are a newbie to crochet, then you're probably already going to be keeping everything nice and tight without even realizing it, which is good. This is where we want your attention. Just make sure that you're grabbing every single one. You don't want to drop a stitch here. So this is a 3 to 6 month one. You can make bigger. You just need to go longer and maybe wider, but it's all the same concept. I mean, I can do videos for bigger ones, but I don't really see the point. But I can if you want to, if you want me to. So here you've got this split where you've sewed the 2 ends together. So I'm just going to go into one of wherever I can stick my hook into. I'm going to make a single crochet, and then I'm going to go into another fake stitch over here. So I've got all this from my one when I first started. So I'm going to go down just below it, and I'm going to grab a piece. I'm just faking stitches now, so I'm just putting stitches in where stitches don't normally go. And then I've got this one here. So this piece of yarn, I'm gonna try to weave in, but you don't have to. If you're new at this whole single crochet, you don't have to. I'm gonna weave my piece in so I don't have to worry about it later. But if you don't weave this starter piece in, you're probably gonna have to weave it in somewhere later. I'm just going to crochet mine in along the back. If everything wasn't so staticky, it would probably go a lot smoother. Everything's just one big static ball. Sorry, I had to fast forward through that because it's gonna be a super long video if I didn't fast forward through some stuff. So I just got a couple of stitches left. to do for this end. So there's a last loop right there. I'm just going to go in. Chain 1, and then you can just pull whatever you have left through. We're going to still need to do some crocheting, but right now we can remove this waste yarn. So you've got two different spots. One's going to be easy and one's going to be hard. So this one here, I think, is the easy end. So you can just pull this off. And then hope you didn't miss any stitches. Oh, I might have missed one there. That's okay, I can get that with my needle. I'm just going to roll out my waste yarn. This other side's a little more difficult to get off. This side's a little difficult to get off. So it's like it's no different than any other project where you have one side that's easy and one side that's not. I don't need that. So you need to find your bottom stitch or your bottom piece of yarn, and you need to pull. Now you're gonna have to do this all the way around. Well, I guess we don't really go around, but you gotta do this all the way to the end. Pull, and then eventually it just gives and it lets you just take over and pull it out like a normal person would eventually. So you just gotta keep doing that. There we go. And then it just gives. So you can just pull like normal. Oh, of course it's stuck on something. Too much moving around, I think, when I was trying to get everything situated. Get out. So now you just hope to God that everything is that you caught just about all your loops. I didn't catch that one. That's where my sewing happened, so I did not do that one very well, but that's okay because that can be fixed. So this is the one I was using to that I was weaving in from over here. So I may just use him to fix this problem that I have. So I'm gonna come back up here if I have enough to fix this problem. I'm gonna scooch my yarn. I'm just kind of weaving back up. So when I come back around, I'm gonna go through this little loop and down. So stretch everything out so that nothing's pulled too tight. And then I'm just gonna weave. I knew that was gonna happen. This yarn is very slippery. So now I'm just gonna scooch down into where I sewed my pieces together. I'm gonna make a knot. I'm going to pull back and forth so it just tightens that knot right up. And I'm going to hide my tail down into here, and that took care of that loop down there. So now you can't see anything. So crisis is averted. So this is where we're going to crochet now to make the brim of the hat. So this is the front, this is the back where we sewed it together. That's the bottom, obviously. I've stopped here because I only had this much, but I'm now going to add this. I normally wouldn't suggest doing this, but it will not be that noticeable. So we need to just kind of reattach again. So I just kind of wrap this around my needle. I'm going to go in here and I'm going to make a stitch. I'm going to do a half double crochet around the brim area. So that is going to consist of yarning over. I'm going to go into the same stitch I just attached with. Well, I was already attached, but the one I just... Anyway, pull your yarn through. You should have 3 loops on your hook, and you're going to yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. That's a half double. So I'm going to do it again in this next stitch. I'm going to do it all the way around the brim of the hat. So this still wants to roll up, but just go into whatever's easy. Even though there's a little bit of a roll here, I'm going to use these stitches. So just go into each one and do a half double crochet. All the way around. And it's still going to want to roll. So that's what it's going to look like. So continue all the way around till you get to the bottom of the other side of the brim. Don't do this part yet. We'll get to that. So I've come all the way around to the other part of my brim. So let me pull my hook out. We still need this, by the way. I just wanted to show you. You might have to take an iron to this because it still wants to roll. You can, it relaxes over time, like my other one has relaxed over time, but it still wants to roll. My knot showed up there, but we're putting a tie through the brim of this hat, so you're not even going to notice that. And I'm just going to stick it up into the stitch. Anyway, so you can book this, or, well, I don't know if that'll work. I would just take an iron to it. I didn't do anything with my last one. I just made sure it was laid flat, and over time it just relaxed. Right now it still wants to roll from being a flat panel, but once it starts getting used and stuff like that, it's fine. So far this is what we have. This is our bonnet and our brim. I want to do another single crochet. I want to do another row of single crochet along the bottom, and then maybe we'll put scallops on this. If you're doing this for a girl, oops, get into the rights. If you're doing this for a girl, we can put scallops all along here to make it look pretty. So for now, you've got stitches that we've already did before we took off our waste yarn. So you can just follow those same stitches. So you just go into the stitch, pull up a loop, and then pull through those 2. So this is just the single crochet. And you're going to do this in every single stitch. all along the bottom. Just gives it a better look. And then we'll come up the other side of the brim. We'll do like some scalloped frills or something. If you don't want that and this is going to be for a boy, then you can just stop at that point. But I did one for a boy, so I'll do this one. Oh my gosh. And I'm a crocheter. So I'll just keep going along the bottom. So I'm back, I've done the whole bottom. So now we can do the, let's do frills for around the bonnet, make this look pretty. So chain one before we start this. I'm gonna use a half double just to keep things small, and plus I already showed you how to do the half double. That's what you did all the way around the brim. So for this one, you're gonna go into your first stitch and get in my first stitch. You're gonna pull up a loop. We should have 3 loops on. You're gonna yarn over and pull through all those 3 loops. I am not a fan of yarn that is not worsted or DK. This is, I'm just getting caught on everything. So that's just your first stitch. That's right on the corner. So this next stitch, you're going to put 3 of those in there. So 3 half doubles in the same space. And now your next, you're going to skip this stitch, and your next stitch you're going to put a single crochet. So now we're getting all wild and crazy. Then your next stitch you're going to put 3 half doubles. And that's just to keep it small. If you want bigger scallops, you can do double crochet, if you know how to do double crochet. So that's 3 half doubles, skip 1, go into this one and do a single crochet. So it's going to put this scallopy edge on. You're doing it like this. Now if you want these bigger, let's go back. I think I want mine bigger. I don't like that small stuff. So let's go back to the beginning. So you've already put your half double in here, and that's just a corner piece. We're not using that for anything. So this next stitch you're going to yarn over. You're going to go in, you're going to pull up a loop just like you did for the half double, but this time you're going to grab some yarn, you're going to pull through 2 of those loops, then you're going to grab some more yarn and pull through 2. That's a double. Now you're going to put 3 doubles in this same space. So now this makes it a little bit bigger. Pull through 2, pull through 2. You're going to skip that, you're going to go into the next one, and you're not going to do a single, you're going to do a slip stitch. Then in your next one you're going to do 3 double crochets. You're going to skip 1, go into your next one. And the slip stitches, you're going to grab some yarn, you're just going to pull it through the one that's already sitting there. So now you've got bigger scallops. These ones I like. These ones are pretty. So it all depends. You've got a couple of choices there. So in your next one, 3 doubles. Holy cow, I'm getting stuck on everything with this yarn. It's pretty yarn, it's hard to crochet with. It's going to be good in my machine as long as I don't use it for crochet. Skip 1, go into the next one, and slip stitch. And then go right into the next stitch with your 3 double crochets. So you're only skipping one after your 3 double crochets in the same space. Skip one, slip stitch, and then go right into the next stitch with your 3 double crochets. So this will also help hide my little knot thing I got going on over here. Plus the tie. So I'm skipping one and I'm slip stitching. So that's your scallops. So I'm going to do mine all the way around the brim. I'm not going to come along the back, the bottom of the hat. I'm just going to fasten off. So I'll meet you back to the bottom of the other side of the brim and I'll show you what to do. So I've come all the way around. This is what it looks like. So I'm kind of at the corner, but I'm going to skip one, and this next stitch is going to be my slip stitch. So now I'm right down at this corner. I don't want to start another scallop, so I'm going to do what I did on my other corner, is I'm just going to put a half double crochet and then I'm going to fasten off. So that's my half double crochet, and then you can use the next stitch to slip stitch and fasten off. So we are done with crochet-ish for the bonnet, but we still have to make our tie, which is just chaining. It's not crocheting. So this is our beautiful scallops if you're making this for a girl, and then you don't have to put these on for the boy, obviously. So I'm just going to tuck this away, and then we'll get to making our ties. You can hide that back up there. We're going to be using that space for our ties, so I just came down here on my last one, weaving in. I had to swap out my card. My card was full. So I'm not going all the way through. I'm just using the bottom. This is just the bottom of the bonnet. I'm just grabbing and weaving my thing through these pieces, just so it's not noticeable. Because you don't want to see it from the other side, that's for sure. So this is our bonnet so far, with our lovely scalloped edge. So hopefully your stupid knot's not where my stupid knot is. It's just too bad I had to even make a knot, but I didn't pull out enough to do all this crocheting with. But I could have just reattached. Anyway, the damage is done. So, make a chain or a slip knot. However you make a slip knot is perfectly fine. And you're going to chain. Oh, I guess if you don't know how to make a slip knot. So this is the end. I'm just gonna wrap it around, making an X. You can use your hook for this. You can just go up over. You can grab the yarn and pull it under, and then pull your finger out, and that's your slip knot. And pull on this short piece to tighten it. So you're going to chain 100 to make your tie. So you're just going to grab your yarn and pull it through. Grab your yarn and pull it through. That's just chaining. So you're going to do this 100 times. So that's my 100. Your chain doesn't have to be tight. It can be loosey-goosey. It does not matter. So do one more because you're just going to pull this through. Cut it off. So thread one of your ends. Doesn't matter which end you thread. And you're going to go up. So you got your half double, your scallop. So you see this space right before the half double? So we want both of these ends to be on the inside. So just kind of go through the bottom stitch here, but you're going to weave up these bigger ends behind all this where it looks like it's all stretched out. That's where you're going to put your, so this is your half double. This is the first one we did, and you probably thought, oh my god, it's stretching so far away. That's okay, because we're going to fill it with what we just made. So pull that, leave some hanging out for your tie. And that's all you're going to do, is using these bigger spaces, you're just going to weave in and out all the way around. So that fills in that gap really nicely. So when we come back around, we need to make sure that the tie comes out from the inside, because that's what we did at the beginning. This little slip knot here, sometimes it's hard to get pulled through, but you can do it. So I'm at the end, but I'm going to go down through this stitch. It's exactly what I did on the other side when I came up through the stitch. So I've got my two corners pretty much even. Pull through. So just make sure your ties are even. Now you don't need to keep these big long strings on here, but I don't cut them all off. I still leave a little bit of that past this knot. Need to get my baby and try this. So this is what it looks like without putting the scallops around the edge. And then this is what it looks like with the scallops. So then you've got like a boy's bonnet and a girl bonnet, if you want to separate those two. So his, like I explained, he's a little smaller. Let's get the suitor out of the way. He's a little smaller. This is for a 3 to 6 month, and he's newborn. So, but when you pull, it tightens around the face, and I just think that might be better for baby anyway, instead of around the neck. So, but this is, he looks like a boy or a girl now with this one. Anyway, that is it for the video. Thanks for joining me, guys. I hope you like it, and I'll see you in the next video.